What's up, everybody? Tonight we're going to talk about Moses and Tuma's performance from last night and more when we come right back. Welcome to another episode of Ring Walk Boxing Podcast. I am Bean, and to everybody that's been supporting, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you're on FB and you're viewing the show, please come over to YouTube. There's a link in the comments on Facebook for you to come over to YouTube. But when you view the video, view it on YouTube and not on Facebook. Thank you very much. Also, if you would like to support the channel, we have merch. We have a description area in the comments with the different merch we have. And if you want to help support Ring Walk Boxing Podcast, that's a beautiful way to do it. Also, shout outs to Lando and Kev McFly, my cousins, and their partner up in Cleveland, Ohio, for this In Your Face magazine. They got me on the cover. Also, me and my bro, JC, right there, my engineer, and my best friend. So we got the magazines with In Your Face magazine. Oh, and I'm pretty sure you've seen that, but yeah, that's how you spell it. In Your Face, like that. All right, y'all. So we're going to jump right into this boxing talk. And I want to say a big shout outs to my guy Kurt DeVille over at Counterpunch Boxing News. He did a good in-depth interview with Michael Hunter. Michael Hunter, to my surprise, he's age 37. I always thought he was a little bit younger, but he's the same age as Dillian White. Now, although Michael Hunter is the same age as Dillian White, they're different in terms of boxing age. Dillian White has had more fights. Dillian White has had bigger fights. So Dillian White has taken a lot of punishment and been in a lot of wars, fighting Chisora twice, fighting people like Anthony Joshua, Povetkin, Fury. Them were his first three losses. Anthony Joshua, Povetkin, and Tyson Fury all knocked out Dillian White in like the mid to late rounds of the fight. I think it was like round 6 or 7 roundabouts in that time of the fight. But Dillian White has always fought, although people may not consider Dillian White a top fighter or the best. He's not the best, but he fought at a world level. And he fought last night. As the main event, Dillian White versus Moses and Tuma. So we're going to talk a little bit about that here in a minute. But back over to Michael Hunter, like I said, he's age 37, and I brought up Dillian White because they're both age 37, but Michael Hunter hasn't been in the same type of wars as Dillian White. Michael Hunter has less mileage and wear and tear on him at the age of 37. And he hasn't fought in a while, so he hasn't been, he probably keeps himself in shape, but he hasn't been in no training camps probably as far as like training for a fight up until now that he's supposed to be fighting, I believe, Kubrat Pulev in October, from my understanding. If you know anything different, let it be known in the chat room. If Michael Hunter is fighting Kubrat Pulev on October the 4th, because that's what I'm seeing. But, AI is good, but I don't want to go fully based on AI. So if you know anything in more depth through some boxing sites or official sites, or if you heard any late news, because in boxing, things change. It could be October, but then I know in the interview, he talked about Don King suing the WBA, and also he talked about Pulev suing the WBA, saying that they were wrong for the purse bid and misconduct. So if there are lawsuits coming from Pulev and from the side of Don King, that could prolong and hold up the fight with Michael Hunter versus Kubrat Pulev. I just found out through this interview that Michael Hunter and Jarrell Big Baby Miller are friends. I never knew they were friends. And Michael Hunter also talks about Jarrell Big Baby Miller blocking him on social media. I don't remember if it was Twitter or IG, but or he might have blocked him on all social medias, but he blocked him. And basically it was a situation, I guess, to where you would have to go watch the interview on Counterpunch Boxing News. So I'm sorry if I twist up the scenario that I'm talking about, but it was something to the fact that Michael Hunter wasn't necessarily, I don't think he was calling out Big Baby Miller, but if he was asked would he fight Big Baby Miller, he would say, yeah, I'll fight him. But not like he was out there like, yeah, I want Big Baby Miller, that type of time, you know what I mean? It was more or less, I think, that somebody else might have asked him, would he fight Big Baby Miller? And he said, yeah. And sometimes friends do fight, hey, you want to give your friend a payday? It's strictly business. And if y'all cool, after the fight, y'all still shake hands and show love. Look at Holyfield versus Riddick Bowe. They're still friends to this day. And they had a trilogy back in the day. So you can be friends and still step in the ring when it comes to boxing. So yeah, Michael Hunter, 24, his record 24, 1-2. He had 2 draws. One was by Povetkin, and I think the other was by Forrest. He's from Van Nuys, California. And Michael Hunter is one of those slick fighters. He's not a natural heavyweight, just like Usyk. And think about it. He's not a natural heavyweight, was once a cruiserweight, and look what Usyk has been doing. Usyk has beat people like Anthony Joshua twice, Tyson Fury twice, Daniel Dubois twice, Chisora, and Chaz Witherspoon. So to do all that he could do in the heavyweight division and shake up the heavyweight division like he did, a lot of people didn't think Usyk could do it. Because I wasn't a believer myself. And I know like people like Dillian White and others were saying that Usyk needs to stay at cruiserweight. Don't come up here with the big boys. Even Deontay Wilder put it out there. Hey, don't come up here with us. But against the warning signs of other people, Usyk stepped up in the heavyweight division and turned it upside down. So like with Michael Hunter being a smaller guy, moving up to the heavyweight, he's definitely agile. He's a very, very, very talented, skilled boxer. Footwork, speed. He has some similarities to Usyk, but not everything he does is just like Usyk. And when they fought back in their day, in their time, that was a great fight. Michael Hunter versus Usyk. That was a great fight. Now, as the later rounds and championship rounds came to fruition, Usyk started raising up the bar and took it up a notch, and he was able to defeat Michael Hunter. But aside of Usyk, and potentially aside of the young Moses Itauma, Michael Hunter, he would do, in my opinion, he would fare very well against some of the top crop of this heavyweight division. Michael Hunter is like a breath of fresh air, and one of those guys that people tend, I think, to forget about. But he could be a dark horse. So let me know what y'all think about Michael Hunter in the chat. Salute, cousin DD. I appreciate you as always. Michael Ware, what's going on? Greetings, cuzzo, greetings. Michael Ware, what's going on? You said I'm good. I am chilling today, not talking. I got told Crawford ducks. Okay, we might talk about that a little bit later, because I do plan to talk about Crawford and Canelo before this segment ends for sure. We're gonna touch up on those guys. All right, so yeah, Michael Hunter also in that interview on Counterpunch Boxing News with Kurt DeVille, he talked about sparring war. So one of those sparring wars I had never heard about. But Michael Hunter was talking about when he sparred Vitaly Klitschko. Now, Vitaly, as we all know, is a real big guy and a natural heavyweight. I mean, he might even fit into what you would call a super heavyweight, although there's not a super heavyweight division. But you know, we call super heavyweights those guys that are probably like 250 pounds or more, 270 pounds, big giants, 6'6", 6'7", 6'9". Well, he sparred Vitaly Klitschko, and Michael Hunter said he got the best of Vitaly. He said he warmed him up very, very good in the sparring session. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Big Baby Miller was there to witness this. And that particular day, I have to go back and look at that interview again, but I think he said his brother was there. I think Vlad Klitschko was there, or either he saw the recording of the sparring match. Because I remember Michael Hunter saying that Vlad was watching the sparring with Vitaly and Michael Hunter, and you could see Vlad cringing and getting really, really angry, seeing his brother getting pieced up by Michael Hunter. So, man, that's something right there. Michael Hunter is definitely one of those guys that people forget about. Now, Tony Bellew, shout out to Tony Bellew, he gives high praise to Michael Hunter. And a lot of people feel like Michael Hunter is, he gets avoided. Now, is he just being avoided, or is it more or less, some people would say he's avoided, whereas some people feel like he doesn't have the best management. So let me know what you feel. It could be a couple different scenarios, because like I said, we all got different opinions. So is it a matter of Michael Hunter not having the best management, or is it Michael Hunter is being avoided because he boxes very, very well? And think about it. People like Usyk, now that people see what he can do, a lot of people are not going to be so like jumping up to want to fight him. I'm not saying nobody won't fight Usyk. It'll be a handful of people that will, but it'll be a lot of people that be like, man, I ain't finna step in there with him. His movement's too slick. he does this too well, and he's southpaw. Um, Usyk is not the fight that most people want. I think the only people that would fight Usyk would be um, somebody like Joseph Parker. He'll fight anybody. I feel like Moses and Tuma would fight him. Now that's just theoretically speaking, but we all know that Moses and Tuma is too green at this point. And I kind of spoke with JC about this earlier. That I feel like he's too green right now. But in his mind, he feels somewhat, I think, invincible right now. And he has a lot of great skills, though. I mean, Moses Toma, he's the type of fighter that he passes the eye test. So what your eyes see and the things you see him do, you're like, man, this dude is he's phenomenal. So I'm kind of in the crosshairs and kind of like on the fence, like, okay, I know this guy's special. He has something about him, but he just that type of guy you gotta watch him fight per fight. Like, okay, he just aced the Dillian White test or whatever. So if they give him Ajit Kabiel next, and he aced that test, you're like, wow, okay, he's a real deal because Kabiel's never been beat yet. He's undefeated, and Kabiel has been taking down some of the big guys in the division like Zili Zhang and Magmadov. You know, so we have to keep that in mind for sure. So let me see. Kind of lost my train of thought. Yeah. So, I was talking about Pulev and Moses and Tuma. Okay, so Moses and Tuma and Pulev. I mean, not Pulev. Moses and Tuma and Kabiel. So Kabiel has been the big heavyweight slayer, like the guys that are the real big intimidating guys, like Zili Zhang and Magmadov. He's been able to stop them with body shots. Um, so he's definitely remarkable. Um, Now Moses and Tuma, I think we don't want to throw him in the deep end and fast track him too much. But I think if we get him right in that little sweet spot to kind of give him people like a F.A. Ajagba, you know, it's still 2025, so F.A. Ajagba, at the end of this year of 2025, and then in the beginning of 2026, give him a fight. If he fights at Jogba, for instance, at the end of this year, maybe next year he can fight Kabiel or Parker Kabiel, however order it goes in. So that would be his second fight. Because one fight this year, early fight 2026, and then his third fight, like I said, it would be either Parker or Kabiel, however way it went. And then the last fight of 2026, which would be fight number 4, if they keep him that active, it would be ideal to fight Usyk then. But make him earn that shot, make him fight these other guys, and work his way up to fighting Usyk. And I think that that would be an interesting matchup in the future. Because think about it, Usyk is a southpaw, but so is Moses and Tuma. He's a southpaw as well, and he's youthful, age 20. You know, he's 20 years old. He's got nice feet, fast hands, and he's moving around that ring in and out, in and out. Um, there's a lot of potential with this young man, Moses and Tuma, and he definitely has a bright future that lies ahead. Um, Now, Cuzzo, we were talking earlier, messaging. So if you are on this live, we'll be getting a link put in the chat, uh, cousin Phoenix. So if you get this message, man, come over to the chat on YouTube and jump on in, because I would like to get you on the show if you're down to chop it up. Michael Ware, you said he beat Bacoli. I need to see more. Now who beat Bacoli, Michael Ware? Referring to who? You talking about Joseph Parker, right? If you could clarify uh, who you mean. Um, all right, let me make sure I got everything that I want to talk about with Michael Hunter. Um, so yeah, Michael Hunter pretty much let it be known in that interview that he is willing to fight anyone in the heavyweight division. And now that I see that he's age 37, he definitely is a guy that needs to stay active because, I would say if he's 37, he probably doesn't want to fight beyond the age of 40. So if he wants to retire in the next 3 years, I say let him fight as much as he can before his career and before he calls it quits. Michael Hunter is definitely a talented fighter, but unfortunately, we haven't we haven't got to see him against the bigger name opponents to kind of know exactly what level he's at. But we know he has all the skills. We know he has the skills, but as far as in the heavyweight division, we've only seen him fight um, a certain level of opposition. To where back in the day, like I said, we saw how he went to war when he fought Usyk back in the day, which I believe that was at cruiserweight, I believe. Salute to you, Miss Jab Queen. Thanks for following through. Salute. And once again, if you're on FB and you see my live stream, please come over to YouTube. It helps the algorithm and it helps me get certain credit that I need for this channel to grow. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that, Mike Ware. Yeah, I forgot all about that. Yeah. I was thinking about Parker, who recently beat Bacoli. But yeah, Michael Hunter did beat Bacoli. Yep. And I agree. Still need to see more. But it just seems like for whatever reasons, he doesn't get the opportunities. But hopefully after the Pulev fight, if that's what's next, Michael Hunter will get he will get a shot at some of the bigger names in the division. Um, I mean, Michael Hunter after Kubrat Pulev, he could fight people like even Anthony Joshua. He could fight Anthony Joshua. He could fight Daniel Dubois. Um, he can fight those type guys, you know. So, Michael Hunter is definitely has a lot of potential, but he needs the type of opponents, I think, to get him up for the occasion, where he can really display his skill set, because he definitely has that skill set. Um, we just need for him to be able to have the type of opponents to where he can show us what he really can do. And shout out to my guy Wayne over in UK. Hey Wayne, if you see me on FB, come over to YouTube, please. I appreciate it. All right, so let's talk a little bit about that card from last night. I know my fam talked about it earlier. Shout out to Cam J. So we're gonna touch up um, on that card. All right, so the Sai versus Muhammad uh, Alakal, I believe pronounce his name Alakal. It was a 6 round fight. And what I noticed is that Abel Sanchez was in the corner of Muhammad Alakal. Um, Unfortunately, I didn't really get a good gauge of how good Alakal was based on that performance, because it ended in the first round, KO with a right hook. So now Muhammad Alakal is at 5 wins and no losses. So he's definitely a fighter who's only had 5 fights. So it'll be easy for me to go do my due diligence and watch his first 4 fights throughout this week, just to kind of see uh, Muhammad Alakal and the type of skill he has. Also on that card, y'all, initially we were supposed to have the fight with Anthony Kakachi, but he was injured. So I believe he had a back injury or something like that. So now his replacement was Abraham Nova, and he fought Raymond Ford. Um, that fight, it was an okay fight, but it wasn't nothing like that just blew me away. Ray Ford threw the kitchen sink at Nova, and Nova was able to eat those shots, even the body shots or whatever he was coming with. Um, he was able to take it and dish something back out to Ray Ford. Being that Ray Ford was a southpaw, and sometimes I know southpaws are tricky against an orthodox fighter, I would have thought that Ray would have been doing something pertaining to the fact he was a southpaw, and to use that to his advantage. But he was just looking like a mediocre level performance versus Nova. The end result was a unanimous decision win for Ray Ford. So if I'm being quite honest, Ray Ford is not heavy on my radar. I will watch the fights if he fights or whatever, but he's not really that thrilling, in my opinion. Um, Also on that card, to me, the best fight was well. Before I talk about that, my favorite fight of that night, let's talk about Nick Ball versus Sam Goodman. It's a little bit of controversy, and that's something we touched on earlier on the round table with Cam J. Um, Nick Ball is not. He's good, but he's not great. He's not at that level that they. I think that they. I think he's more hyped. I think he's overrated. Um, and that performance last night or yesterday, USA time, it was okay, and it could have went either way. 7-5, Nick Ball, 7-5, Sam Goodman. Uh, as Cam J alluded to earlier, um, Nick Ball was the champ, so usually when you're fighting the champ, you need to beat him convincingly. And Sam Goodman just didn't take it up another notch. You know what I mean? Um, and it could have been a draw, and I wouldn't be upset at a draw. You know, but it is what it is. And like we talked about earlier, I think it was all was a setup. Because boxing can be political, money be involved, and stuff like that. And sometimes they have certain fights already aligned. So if a certain fighter is not knocked out and it's a close fight that could go either way, and you have that belt, most likely you as a champ will keep that belt because it was a close fight. Now, if your opponent knocks you out, there's no disputing that. Then it's like, okay, the champ got knocked out, so you got to give it to the other guy. But because it was a close fight that went to a decision, and Nick Ball was the champ, he retains his title. And I think the next fight is going to be they're trying to push the fight for Nick Ball versus Inoue. Me personally, I mean, I know Nick Ball says he'll fight anybody, but that's not the type of smoke that they should want for Nick Ball. A good payday or whatever, and good money because of the status of Inoue, but he'll eat Nick Ball alive. Jab Queen, you said, yeah, I don't think Ford has that much power, or either Nova has a pretty good chin. Yeah, Jab Queen. It could be either of what you said, or the combination of both. Um, I gave him $1. You said, agree, mate. I think Inoue knocks them both out, and I'm a Aussie. Though Sam fought a great fight, just couldn't quite get in the front. Oh, shout outs, man, and thanks for coming out to support the channel tonight. So you said you're from Australia? I gave him $1. You're from Australia? Make sure everybody in this on this thread, please hit the thumbs up button. Um, so yeah. So also let's talk about on that card. My favorite fight of the night was David Adelaide versus Philip Herkovic. That was a war. And it could have been even a better fight. It could have been, even though that eighth round stuck out, everybody talks about the eighth round. So go back on YouTube, watch the eighth round, but also you might want to go on YouTube and watch the whole fight if it's available. But the reason why I say it could have been a better fight was Adelaide, kind of like what I've seen in, I'm an Anthony Joshua fan, but Adelaide has a lot of muscle mass, and Anthony Joshua has a lot of muscle mass. And sometimes that works against you as a boxer because, like they always say, boxing is not a bodybuilder contest. Boxing is boxing. I'm not saying don't be in shape, don't be lean, don't be all that, whatever. But sometimes being too bulky, you start to struggle in those late rounds, you know. And I saw that with David Adelaide. I saw the signs of fatigue in the first couple rounds. And as the fight was going on, round by round, he's getting more and more tired. And the reason why I kind of could tell that was the fact that Herkovic was so easy to be able to push him back. He had Adelaide on the back foot a lot. He had Adelaide on the ropes a lot. And it was really amazing in that eighth round because when he got knocked down, I felt like just prior to that, I'm like, oh man, Adelaide is getting tired. And I kept saying in my mind, he might get knocked out due to fatigue. Well, somehow he got a second win after being dropped in that eighth round. Got a second win and had a moment where he was just wailing on Herkovic. With no defense of Herkovic just taking punches to the chin. I mean, hooks with a lot of power. I don't know how he didn't fall. I don't know how that man didn't fall. But at the same time, to his trainers, to the trainers of Herkovic, don't let your man take unnecessary punishment like that. Show him how to have some level of defense. Let him be responsible defensively on some level. You just can't be careless out there in that ring like that. And then early in that fight, I think the second round, maybe the third round, he got cut. Herkovic sustained a cut above his eye. And I want to say a similar thing happened when he fought Daniel Dubois. He got cut in that eye area. And I'm not comparing him to Vitaly Klitschko as far as the career, but as far as his sensitivity to his skin, it's almost like Vitaly. When Lennox Lewis started hitting Vitaly Klitschko, he would cut very easily. And that was basically how the fight got stopped and how Lennox Lewis won back in the day. But when it comes to Herkovic, he gets cut really, really bad. And that was a bad cut. And as Jab Queen said earlier, shout out to the cut man, because whoever his cut man was did a very good job on keeping his cut from just bleeding all over the place, because it was pretty bad. And he was able to continue to fight, and it went the distance, and Herkovic won, as he should have won, You know, he was the busier fighter. Adelaide did have some good, precise punching, but like I said, I think that all that muscle mass started to work against him in the fight, and he wasn't able to keep up with the punch output, like he would want to. Okay. So you are from Australia. So shout outs to you, brother. I appreciate you for coming through, mate. So what do you think? I gave him $1. What do you think about the Herkovic versus Adelaide fight? Also, what do you feel about the Nick Ball versus Sam Goodman? What you feel about that fight? All right, and we're gonna jump into the main event on that card. The young up and coming Moses Itauma versus Dillian the Body Snatcher White. Now, it appeared that Dillian White was taking this fight very seriously, being that he's 37 and Moses Itauma is a young 20-year-old. So there's a big 17-year gap. But prior to the fight, like many people, we knew the experience and being battle tested came from the end of Dillian White. Dillian White lost a lot of weight and was in like the best condition of his career. He was like weighing like I think 244 pounds and real lean. So in my mind, I'm thinking like, okay, he's going to put on a pretty decent performance. He won't win the fight, but he'll make a very good account of himself. We've seen Dillian White in the trenches with Anthony Joshua back in the day. We've seen Dillian White have two fights, two wars with Chisora. We've seen him against Joseph Parker in a war. We've seen him in a war with Oscar Rivas, Marius Walk, all these big heavyweights. Povetkin twice, being knocked out by Povetkin, and then coming back in the rematch to stop him. Jermaine Franklin fight. We saw the body snatcher in a close fight with Jermaine Franklin. So seeing him in the type of shape that he was in, I think most people predicted it would last about 4 or 5 rounds. Well, to my surprise and to many others' surprise, the fight only lasted 1 minute and 59 seconds. Now, that took me back to being an 8-year-old kid when my pops took me over to my late great Uncle William's house, Uncle William Price. And we went to go watch the fight with Mike Tyson versus Michael Spinks, 1988. Do you have a picture of that fight, JC? Mike Tyson versus Michael Spinks. So Mike Tyson, which is a big part of the reason why I do this podcast, because I'm a Mike Tyson fan. And I was 8 years old, like I said, and my pops picked me up. We took a ride over to Lincoln Heights to my Uncle William's house. And I remember that fight lasting maybe like 90 seconds. And Mike Tyson went in there and he went at Michael Spinks like a bull and leveled him out in like 90 seconds. Well, this fight was similar with Dillian White and Moses Itauma. Instead of the one punch raw power, this was more or less like a clinical breakdown of Dillian White by Moses Itauma. Moses Itauma is a southpaw, so that's one reason why Dillian White would struggle. He's never fought a southpaw fighter. But it's much more than just being a southpaw. Southpaw, age 20. And he does things that a typical 20-year-old fighter won't do. Most guys at that age are in there and all they want to do is go to war. They're not really trying to pick their shots. They're just trying to lay their opponent out. Let's rewind it back and talk about Anthony Joshua a little bit. He talks about that on an old interview. He said he thought that's what boxing was supposed to be. He didn't really talk about trying to do the sweet science. He said he was trying to be in a phone booth and just throw bombs at his opponent, and whatever came towards his way, he had to take those punches or whatever. And Anthony Joshua started boxing at the age of 18, so you figure, from 18 to the age of 20, where Moses Itauma is now, he wants to be a type of fighter just to kind of fight in that phone booth, but then you're kind of being reckless at the same time. But you don't see that until it catches up with you. And when he fought Andy Ruiz and got clipped and got caught near that temple area, that changed that whole trajectory of the fight for AJ. So with Moses Itauma, his approach is different than Anthony Joshua. He's not in there just trying to be a knockout artist, but he actually strategically and clinically breaks down his opponent with his fast, and like I said, his left hand is his power punch, but that right hand is very, very strong. His right jab is very, very strong. It's a very, very strong jab. When you see him on the pads with Ben Davison, his punches are very crisp and fast, and they're so precise. Like if it's a pad, he hits it like right in that middle area. Like he hits it. The accuracy of his punches are crazy. And so in the first round, which it only went one round, not even a full round, but in the beginning of the first round, Dillian White was throwing a couple jabs out there. He threw a couple jabs, but he never got to get no real body shots off on Moses Itauma. And I feel like Dillian White did not expect that pace from Moses Itauma. I don't think he expected that. And I think that not only did he not expect the pace of Moses Itauma, the speed. I don't think he realized how fast Moses was as far as his hand and his feet. He had fast, good footwork and fast hands. I don't think that he understood exactly what he was going to be encountering. Ms. Jab Queen, you said you're right. He was very patient. He has good punch placement too. Absolutely, Queen. Absolutely. Uh, Jab Queen Boxing, you said that overhand right is money. Absolutely. That overhand right all day. It's money all day. He has a nasty overhand right, and the type of speed that he has. And he has not only, like, when you see certain fighters too, is like I said, he got good footwork, but he has a very good foundation, and he's very stable in there. He's not the type of guy that some guys punch so hard that their whole body's turning and they're out of position. So by the time they come back into position, their opponent can catch them off guard. But Moses Itauma, he has a very good balance. He has very, very good balance. And that's what I like about Moses Itauma. So let's talk about that little triangle we talked about earlier. And let's talk about the fact that Moses Itauma, coming off that Dillian White win, and then you got the WBO that Usyk has. So if Usyk, which I don't see it for some reason, I think Usyk is going to vacate the belt. But if he vacates the belt, then pretty much um, that the champ will be, and we're just gonna speak hypothetically because we don't know exactly what the future holds. But hypothetically, so if Usyk drops that WBO strap, then the belt goes over to Joseph Parker. Now we know ideally that Joseph Parker wants to fight Usyk. He doesn't want to get a belt handed over to him because a person vacated that belt. He wants to earn that belt. So you got to respect the grit and the mentality of Joseph Parker for the fact that he actually wants to fight the best guy out there, and that is Usyk. Um, in the same aspect, it's like um, if he does get that belt awarded to him, are they going to try to push Moses and Tuma that fast? Is Frank Warren, or if Turkey's in the ear of Frank Warren, are they going to try to push him to fight Parker if Parker is the champ and has a WBO belt? They might get that inkling to want to fight for that belt. Now, some people say, I know Cam J feels this way, and a few others on FB to talk. Y'all feel like Ntuma will stop Parker. But Parker's he's no pushover. He's no pushover. So that would be a good match. But we got other guys out there like Caballero, who was one of the top guys out there, who has no losses. If I'm not mistaken, Caballero is at no losses. Jab Queen, you said, referring to I gave him $1. You said, yeah, I actually thought Goodman edged it, if we being honest. And yeah, and I can definitely rock with that for sure, Jab Queen, because like I was saying earlier, I felt like Nick Ball lost, but I think that the fact that his saving grace was the fact that he had that belt, and being a champion, he was able to get over and get the win that he really didn't deserve. Jab Queen, you said you think they want him to go for a belt already? Well, I think they should pump their brakes and kind of let him, go up, like kind of baby step him up, move him up a little bit more here, Jermaine Franklin or somebody like that, F.A. Jabba, and then step him up to maybe a Caballero or something like that, and Parker. But make sure he goes through like a F.A. Jagba stage, Jermaine Franklin stage. But I mean, when that belt is there, and by him being so young, it's really no rush when you think about it from that aspect. When you think about the fact that Moses Ntuma is only 20, he has quite a bit of time to still blossom and to be at his peak. But then some people said, in their opinion, they felt like Moses Ntuma had peaked early, that he's just doing things that he's different, that he's just one of those special talents. But time is gonna tell for sure. But I don't see me personally, I don't see a reason to rush him. But sometimes when the people like the promoter, like a Turkey Ellis Shake, when they see dollar signs and they're being greedy, you never know what they may do in the sport of boxing. I mean, I don't feel like Big Baby Anderson was ready for Martin Bacoli, and they kind of threw him in the deep end, and it was like, okay, there you go, Jared Anderson, sink or swim. But he shouldn't have been in there with Martin Bacoli. That was too far of a dangerous of an opponent to put him in there with him. Um, Kari Bannerman, you said Itauma stops Parker. I saw Parker versus Dillian. Yeah, that was Dillian White and Parker. And to be fair, that was some a couple years ago. So I would say Parker's better now than he was back then. And things have changed. Like Parker has a new trainer with Andy Lee, and I think Andy Lee has been trying to implement for Parker to do more, to sit on his punches more, to try to go for a KO, to try to you know show him how to plant his foot and how to sit on his punches to get the maximum effect of his punches. I think they're focused on power, and back in the day, he didn't really focus on power like that. But if you do go back and watch Joseph Parker, go watch Chisora versus Parker 2, the rematch. And Chisora is no pushover. He's a tough dude. Usyk didn't drop Chisora at all. And we know how good Usyk is. Well, Parker fought um, Chisora in the rematch and dropped him multiple times. He dropped him multiple times. So that let me know right then and there, okay, Joseph Parker's another guy that has underrated punch power. You don't think he's as powerful as he is, but I feel like you shouldn't sleep on him. You shouldn't sleep on Joseph Parker. And Joseph Parker said in the interview he's willing to fight anybody. I believe that was when he talked to Talk Sports over in UK, that he said, "Hey, if the next fighter is Usyk, I want that. I want that smoke, basically." But he said if the next fighter was to be Moses and Tuma, he said he'd fight him too. So I don't know. We don't know how this is all gonna play out. That's why we're just kind of here, putting our like minds together, and some of our minds are a little bit different. We're all thinking a little different, but then some of us thinking similar ways, and some are thinking a different way. But at the end of the day, it's all fair and square when we chop it up about boxing. Now, speaking of Derek Chisora, he's definitely going to try to get in where he can fit in. But I mean, Derek Chisora is just a guy out there that's fought 49 fights and fought a lot of people, a lot of the higher opposition in the boxing world, and he's just about ready to retire. From my understanding, from what he was saying, is that he had 49 fights, and the 50th fight would be his retirement fight. So he's looking to fight maybe Joseph Parker or Dillian White. Uh, Derek Chisora is, but for me, it's nothing in it for Parker to fight Chisora right now. Parker is one of the top guys right now, so he don't need to step back to try to fight Chisora. He needs to be thinking ahead. You know, the guys like Usyk, the guys like Kabiel, the guys like at that type of level. Also, let's talk a little bit about Lamont Roach because I saw an interview with him. I can't remember exactly what channel was on. It might have been Fight Hype. I can't remember, to be honest. But Lamont Roach talked about the fact that he doesn't think that the rematch he doesn't feel like the immediate rematch where Gervonta Tank Davis will be next. That's the way that Lamont Roach Jr. is talking right now. Now, I know some people will digress and say, hey, I feel like it's still going to happen. But I'm not here to say that I don't feel like it's not going to happen. I'm just saying that it may not happen immediately, like right now, next. It may be Shakur Stevenson versus Lamont Roach. And a lot of people feel like Shakur Stevenson would beat Lamont Roach. So I want to know y'all opinion, hypothetically. If the chips lay and fall a certain way and Lamont Roach Jr. fights Shakur Stevenson, a lot of people feel Shakur Stevenson's going to win. Well, if he wins, I think that would set up a perfect fight for him versus Gervonta Tank Davis. I think that would set up a perfect match for Shakur versus Tank Davis. So, I want to know y'all opinion on what y'all think. And I know yesterday, I'm going to just speak on it. I'm not going to go into detail because I didn't see any fights on Pro Box TV. I'll probably go back and watch them tonight before I go to bed. But there was a card on Pro Box TV as well. I didn't get a chance to watch those fights. But I'm going to go ahead and watch them tonight. Rob Elmore, what's up, family? What's up to you? You said Moses beats Parker, but does Parker want him after seeing this latest fight? That's a good question. That's a good question to ask. Because maybe Parker won't. Okay, this is my opinion. Maybe Parker won't admit to the facts, but for him to see how Moses did Dillian White and to look back at his fight, that he actually had a war with Dillian White and came up short by losing to Dillian White, he might look at that like, whoa, this dude was able to take the same guy I went to war with and knock him out or TKO him in 1 minute and 59 seconds of the first round. That's probably playing in his head, but he's not going to come out to the public on an interview and let it be known. But hey, man, you gotta love boxing, right? Rob Elmore, you said Cap. You talking about Lamont Roach Jr. in the Tank Davis scenario? You said for Roach is going to be next, from what I'm told. That's what's up. I know you kind of stay up on it. So yeah, y'all. We just here kicking it for a little while. Only about what? We've been on here about about an hour? About an hour. So we'll be on here a little bit longer. So if you want to jump on, that now is the time to do so. So if you want to jump on, let me know because we're not gonna be on here a lot longer. So if you want to jump on and talk a little bit, let me know now. And if you're still there, my guy from Australia, we're going to drop a link, man. So I would like to get you on here for the first time. My brother can drop the link in this chat, and you can just hit the link, and he will get you on. We can talk on video. Okay, Rob, you said you'll jump on. Okay, we got that link coming, y'all. Hey, Wade, I appreciate it. Yeah, I agree. Michael Hunter, he said problem Hunter is now is with Don King. Yeah, and if you want to talk a little more, mate, there's a link on YouTube if you want to come on for a minute. Rob Dickinson over in UK, salute, bro. If you want to jump on, please come over to YouTube because we're going to be jumping on. James Riley, we're going to be jumping on. So all y'all guys come over to YouTube. Walt Davis, uh, Pete, um, Charlie Boo, uh, any of y'all guys that want to jump on, come over to YouTube and please view me off of YouTube, please. Okay. I kind of see if you can hear me, Rob. Turn your camera. Okay, you're sideways. Hey, bro, how you doing? I'm pretty good. Yep. Yeah. Facts.
We knew for me, I knew where Dillian White was already, but this fight was more about Moses and where he was and the questions that I had about him. And he answered them, bro, because I'm gonna say like 12 seconds in, he jabbed White and White didn't respond. And then he went to the body with that left. And I said, dude, this fight is over. If this fight continues on, though, it's just gonna be over. And next thing I know, man, he put a combination together and he caught him with a simple shot. And he went down. And he tried to, and he stumbled and he got back up, and the referee stopped it. And he was looking like, "Why you stop?" I'm like, "Bro, look, you was getting pieced up. You had no answers. You was trying to use the Philly shell, leaning against the ropes, getting touched up still. Mm-hmm. He was still finding gaps in it, man."
Yeah.
And what I was saying about, I think I was talking to Cam yesterday. I said, like, this could have scared off a lot of people, man. That saw this fight, I'm like, oh, okay, I really don't want to fight him. Because if you Usyk, is gonna mess around and drop the belt, he said in the ring last night, if I'm not mistaken, that I'm the number one challenger for the WBO, and so is Parker. So that will possibly lead them to fight for it. But like I said, Parker, and you made a good point with that. It's like, oh yeah, he destroyed somebody I went to war with. And possibly also Parker could be looking at like, okay, if he fought Usyk is 38, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if he loses to Usyk and he's 38, it's like, okay, I lost to Usyk and he kind of broke me down at 38. I can take that. But losing to a 20-year-old little dynamite in both hands dude like this, nah, no, that's way too much embarrassment. You know what I'm saying? I could be wrong, but he probably looking at it like that.
Right.
And he said he wanted to get a title shot next year. Dude, I think they was talking about him fighting Hargovic. But I think if they present it with that title shot, if Usyk vacates, I think they're gonna go after that. And it might not be Parker, maybe the next guy up in the rankings. I think they're gonna go after that, and then he just gonna defend that title. But he answered a lot of questions for me yesterday, man. I wasn't more concerned about White. In fact, I gave it 4 rounds. I said the fight was gonna go 4 rounds, but when I started watching, it was like, oh nah, man, he a bad boy, man. And I hate.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like, we criticize, and I'm guilty of it myself. When you look at a guy's record, and he's coming up.
Mm.
You like, okay, he ain't fought nobody, but as a matchmaker, you don't want to match your fighters too harshly coming up or too soft. So you kind of want to keep them mid tempo.
Right.
But when your time does come and you match him harshly, and he stepped up like that, he answered the question. So he might not have fought to the level of a Dillian White who has experience, but yeah, he raised his game from his B level or C level fighters to like, yo, I just took out this guy. So he probably swelling with confidence right now, man. But I think he's gonna get overlooked just because they're gonna consider him a high risk, low reward fighter, and that's gonna be the excuse they're gonna use. He don't bring nothing to the table financially that I won't, but a punch.
Interesting. You make a good point. Yeah, you make a good point right there, man.
What you think of it, man?
Man, you said a mouthful. Yeah, man, this guy is special because usually people they don't tick off every box. You know, this guy is a southpaw, so that's already a problem for most orthodox fighters. He's southpaw. He's got good reach. He's got foot speed. He's got hand speed. He moves in and out the pocket. He don't stay in the pocket long enough to get touched up. He was right there in front of Dillian, and he was like that video game. Was it remember that dude was real? He was like a Flash, Night Walker or something. But he's kind of like a video game. He's right there in front of Dillian, and before Dillian can set himself and want to throw something meaningful, he's right back out.
Mm-hmm.
Moses, he just does this. He's in and out, and you can never really put a clamp on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's something. The only thing that people can say, and it's not his fault, is they're gonna keep saying his chin hasn't been tested. But I mean, at the end of the day, he just not allowing for it to be tested.
Right. When he was stick up there like, hey, yo, see what you got. Oh, come on, bro. Come on, man. But they said they want to see him get some rounds in. So who do you think can get him some rounds in right now?
Only person I can, well, a couple people, but it has to be somebody that so far they haven't been knocked out. Somebody that, so maybe like Big Baby Miller, Andy Ruiz, or Jermaine Franklin.
I just saw that. I just saw a post about that. That's who they want to fight next. That's who they want to fight next.
I think you'll get rounds.
I think that'd be a good. I think that'd be a good match, man. But see, that's the thing. He went to war with Dillian White too, and I actually thought he won that fight.
Right. That's what. Well, yeah.
I thought he won. I thought he did enough, but I guess the judges didn't think so, man. But I would.
Let's rewind back too. I want to say he came over to UK to fight.
So he did.
That's probably a reason why Dillian got the nod. Home cooking.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I think he did that twice. He went over there for AJ, didn't he?
I think so.
He fought. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, I'm pretty sure he got compensated like you coming over there.
Right.
Because dude, he works a 9 to 5 from what I remember, and he.
Oh, so let's talk about this. Since we talked about Jermaine Franklin, if they could find a venue in the States over here to bring Itauma to have his debut in America, and fight Jermaine Franklin.
Ooh.
That would be interesting.
Man, the only thing that I could think of, and I'm not saying this to demean either Franklin or Moses, they will probably put it in the Madison Square Garden Theater because it's prestigious over there. You know what I'm saying? I don't think putting this in some rinky dink stadium over here would do it for him. Like Madison Square Garden could bring a lot of attention for him there.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I can't see a T-Mobile Arena or something like he's not that big yet. So like that little room down there would get him some recognition.
For sure. For sure. Yes, sir. So you say you feel like it's capped with Lamar
Yeah,
Roach?
man. Yeah. Cam was talking about it last week, and they were from what he was told, the announcement is just imminent. They're just waiting. Roach is out here just capping right now, man. What it's August. If you're gonna sign up to fight Shakur right now, you better get the signing and get the training right now because the year is almost over with. Shakur was saying in the interview right after his fight, who did he just fight? Oh man, I cannot think of his name. Not Virgil Ortiz. Help me out here, Bean.
Wasn't it Virgil Ortiz?
No. Yeah. Okay. No, not Virgil Ortiz, dude. Wait, the dude he just stood toe to toe with, man. I forget his name already.
Oh man. Hey JC, who did Shakur Stevenson fight? We're trying to refresh our mind. Can you look up Shakur? Yeah, his last fight. That's his opponent.
Yeah. Shortly after that, Shakur was like, he wanted to do the tank fight next. If he had to sign a PVC, he would do that. So,
oh yeah, Zapata. William Zapata.
Yeah, William Zapata. Yeah, he said right after that fight he wanted to, fight Tank next, but he said he might sit the year out. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, he knows Tank got a fight, and it's supposed to be in October, from what I was told. The Tank Rose fight would be in October. So if he trying to do something, he better do something now. But like right now, I just don't see it because I think he's weighing his options. He's a free agent now. I think they're trying to look for the best deal possible for them before they sign up and fight somebody. So no, Roach is capping right now.
Yeah. So definitely gonna stay. Got to keep our ears and our eyes open to all that we see, ears open to all that we hear when it comes to Lamont Roach.
Yeah. these guys, they know what they're doing, man. You know what? And I think it's more publicity he's doing, to keep the name and keep the stuff out there, man.
Yeah.
Because fighters will say stuff like that, and then people clickbait and all that.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure, man.
Bro, you got a cash app to this show, bro?
I have Zelle, PayPal, or Venmo.
Okay, I'm gonna go Zelle. I'm gonna look you up in them, and I'm gonna drop you some jewels, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you've been out here grinding and working, bro.
Appreciate that, brother.
I see you on every Sunday, man. I might not be able to come on every Sunday, dude, because when I come home from church, man, I'll be like, yo, I ain't got it right now. I need a nap, and I might miss it. And I caught the replay of you and Joe, man. How did you pull that off?
Oh yeah. With Joe Cortez, and I'm happy you brought that up because that was what I was meaning to interject earlier in this segment. To all of you out there that missed last Sunday's live, I had the legendary Joe Cortez interview, and we did an interview for like a full hour. So how that came about, the backstory. Shout out to my guy, Brandon Martindale. He stays in Northern Ohio, and he had been in touch with Mr. Cortez, and he was telling me he would talk to him and let him know that his boy had a podcast, and he gave me the layup, and he said he would do it. So we set up the time and everything went smooth.
You slam dunk that boy.
Yes, sir. It was beautiful. So while I'm on that topic too, just for those who may just be following, yo, go back to some of my earlier videos. I have legendary Nate Tubbs. I did a long interview with him, with Mr. Nate Tubbs, the brother of Tony Tubbs, the legend Tony Tubbs. Uh, we go in real deep. He talks about his relationship with Mike Tyson, uh, about the Holyfield and Mike Tyson and all that. You know what I mean? So it's a real good episode.
Yeah, good stuff, fam. I was looking at like, bro, y'all out here doing it, man. Just keep going at it, bro. And don't get discouraged, man. And I see like your heart and your love for it, man. That's what really counts out here. Like if you put the heart and the love into it, like people will come watch. You know what I'm saying? It might start slow and it's gonna start picking up, man. But I see you constantly, it's consistency, bro. You're consistent. I like it, man. Stay on your grind, bro.
Man, I appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, I'm gonna get up out of here, man. I'm gonna, somebody else wanna come on, I'm gonna let them come on, man. But I'm gonna go find your Zelle and I'm gonna drop you some
Okay.
jewels, man.
Okay, I'll send that to you.
All right, bet.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yep.
Red Corner Boxing. Hey, welcome to the Ring Walk Boxing Podcast. You said, been there, bro. God comes first on Sunday. That's what's up. You said Joe Cortez, legendary referee, not my favorite though, because of Ricky Hatton, of course. He's definitely a legend, man. Shout outs to Mr. Joe Cortez. He also has a podcast as well. So please support Joe Cortez podcast on YouTube. Do you still have that link from last time? Yeah. JC can drop a link here, y'all, for the podcast of Joe Cortez. Definitely check him out. Red Corner Boxing. Where are you from? Are you from UK? And please hit the thumbs up button. And since you're just hopping in on the chat, Red Corner Boxing, what what did you feel about the Dillian White versus Moses and Tuma fight? Also, the David Adelaide versus Philip Herkovic match. What's your assessment on those? Okay, you are from England. Okay, that's what's up, mate. That's cool. Much love from UK to over here. Hopefully, in the future, we could do a collaboration, me and you. You know. Um. Yeah. So, um, you said the love the boxing for sure. So we're very much like minded because we have a passion for boxing. So we could definitely do some collaboration work. I know our time zone's different. You're like 5 hours before me, so we'll work out something. Um, Also, everybody here, follow me on my TikTok. Uh, I have a link tree. If you go to my FB, is my link tree on my YouTube as well? Okay, so everything's on the link tree. YouTube, uh, Twitter, TikTok, IG, FB, all that. So make sure you follow me on those platforms. And if you follow me on TikTok, just do me a favor, take 5 seconds, if that. And if you see a post on TikTok, just hit the like. Just take that quick couple seconds versus just viewing it and doing nothing. Just hit the thing for me. Just for the support of the movement. All right, Red Corner Boxing. You said Dillian was shot to pieces. It needs to stop. Moses needs to face Herkovic next, not Usyk. As for Adelaide, he tried his best, but he is domestic level at best. Yes, bro. Would love a collab. Okay, we'll get it done. Um, yep. You said you just interviewed. Let me see. Trevor McCumbee tonight from Arizona. We can make the times work, bro, for sure. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Yeah, because he's in Arizona, which is West Coast time. He's 3 hours before me. So with you and him, that's like a 8 hour difference. Yeah. But that's cool, brother, for sure. Um, so we covered a whole lot here on this segment tonight. I'm not going to drag this out, y'all. I want to say thanks for everybody that tuned in tonight, and a very special shout out to those who are regulars who come every week to show support. Miss Jab Queen, thank you. Cuz down south, special thanks. Mike Ware, Rob Elmore, Cam J, and thanks to everybody on here tonight. Red Corner Boxing, thank you. I really appreciate you. And we'll be back every Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, USA. Every Sunday, y'all. It's going down here at Ring Walk Boxing Podcast. So again, in the description area, you can support the channel. We have merch and all that type of good stuff. So have a good night. Be safe, and I will catch you on the next round. Peace.